I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing or they don't know anything about boxing, they wanna watch Jake Paul because he's coming from he bring fans from other world, right?
Yeah.
That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
There are some reports now coming out that Canelo Jake Paul is a thing in May as well. Which, by the way, what a freaking year for Canelo Alvarez. Holy shit. Those are two gigantic paydays.
Canelo Alvarez has finally addressed the swirling rumors of a potential mega fight against Jake Paul, sending shockwaves through the boxing community. According to insiders, both men have reportedly agreed to face off this May, setting up one of the most bizarre yet financially intriguing matchups in recent boxing history. While fans are stunned that Canelo would even consider fighting Paul, sources close to his camp suggest this would merely serve as a tune-up before his highly anticipated title defense against Terence Crawford on September 13th at the iconic T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The contrast between the two fighters couldn't be starker. Canelo, a generational talent and four-division world champion, widely considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of the era, versus Jake Paul, a YouTube star-turned-boxer who's gained notoriety by beating aging ex-champions and fighters with questionable credentials. Though Paul has shown growth and dedication in the ring, facing someone like Canelo is a completely different challenge. Yet, the financial lure of this matchup is hard to ignore. Jake Paul's massive following and marketing reach could make this a pay-per-view juggernaut, proving once again that in boxing, money talks. Whether this fight actually materializes or fizzles out is another viral rumor. One thing is clear: if it happens, the entire boxing world will be watching.
If that fight ends up being close,
Yes.
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right?
A lot, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose, and
100%.
According to Julius Giuliani's, reports are now indicating that Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul have officially agreed to a fight, but several crucial aspects remain unresolved. The primary uncertainties lie in the weight class and number of rounds, factors that could drastically influence the outcome. Jake Paul has primarily competed as a cruiserweight throughout his boxing career, while Canelo Alvarez has established dominance across multiple divisions, currently reigning at super middleweight with a fighting weight of 168 pounds. If the fight is scheduled at a catch weight, it might level the playing field slightly for Paul. However, should Canelo stick to his preferred weight, the physical and technical gap could prove overwhelming for the social media star-turned-fighter. Canelo's record speaks volumes: 62 wins, just 2 losses, and 2 draws, a testament to his pedigree and unmatched resume. He's taken on elite fighters and never entertained exhibition bouts, making it unlikely that he would enter the ring for anything less than a fully sanctioned contest. Canelo's brand is built on credibility, legacy, and testing himself against top-tier competition, and an exhibition against Jake Paul doesn't align with that ethos. Still, the financial upside of this clash is too significant to dismiss. Many believe it could outperform Canelo's September 13th fight against Terence Crawford in pay-per-view buys, all thanks to Jake Paul's staggering digital influence. With over 23 million followers on Instagram and more than 20 million subscribers on YouTube, Paul has consistently drawn mainstream attention to his bouts, bringing in a younger, global audience that traditional boxing often struggles to capture. His marketing machine and charisma have already generated massive revenues in past fights, and a bout with Canelo would likely shatter commercial records. While hardcore boxing fans may balk at the legitimacy of Paul stepping in with a generational great like Canelo, the business side of the sport can't be overlooked. If the financials align and the logistics are finalized, this could easily become one of the most watched and talked about fights in the history of modern boxing.
Said that you'd like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen 3 more years from now.
So I'm
going to get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of, and with this new team, I can give Canelo a serious run.
Crawford's star power simply doesn't compare to Canelo Alvarez's. His most recent pay-per-view bout against Israil Madrimov on August 3rd was a commercial flop, drawing in only around 75,000 to 100,000 buys, a figure that underscores his limited reach with mainstream audiences. If not for Turki Al-Sheikh's deep financial backing and interest in staging major boxing events, a Canelo vs. Crawford fight might not even be on the table. Meanwhile, social media is in an uproar over the possibility of Canelo stepping into the ring with Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer. Many fans find the idea so absurd that they refuse to believe Canelo would stoop to such a spectacle. Yet, in a recent interview with TMZ Sports, the Mexican superstar didn't deny the rumors. Instead, he acknowledged the possibility, stating clearly that if the price is right, he's open to the idea. Financially, a matchup with Jake Paul could vastly outearn Canelo's current May commitment against IBF super middleweight champion William Skull. Behind the scenes, talks appear to be advancing quickly. Sources close to the situation have told Julius Giulianis that the deal is essentially done, with co-promotion duties being split between Canelo Promotions, Jake Paul's most valuable promotions, MVP, and Premier Boxing Champions, PBC. Jake Paul, for his part, is coming off a controversial win over 59-year-old Mike Tyson, a fight that ended with Paul winning by unanimous decision after 8 rounds on November 15 in Arlington, Texas. Should Canelo go forward with this bout, critics will likely accuse him of coasting through the twilight of his career, prioritizing high-revenue, low-risk fights instead of challenging himself at the elite level. Many believe that ever since his loss to Dimitri Bivol in May 2022, Canelo hasn't taken a truly dangerous or legacy-defining fight. While there's still no official confirmation that the Jake Paul bout is happening, the sheer volume of chatter around it is impossible to ignore. Boxing analyst Wade Plem echoed the skepticism in the community, stating, "I thought if this was ever going to happen, it would be years from now. But in 3 months? While Canelo is still a reigning champion? If this is real, it's the last thing anyone expected." However, Plem's follow-up comment struck a different tone. "I don't know for sure, but too many respected journalists and insiders are reporting it for this to be nothing." This suggests the story has deeper roots than mere rumor or hype. Even Ariel Helwani, one of combat sports' most respected journalists, seems to believe there's something to it. On the February 4th episode of The Ariel Helwani Show, he discussed the growing speculation and didn't dismiss the rumors outright. While he stopped short of confirming the fight, he made it clear that this wasn't some baseless internet hoax. Helwani's take? There are reports now that Canelo vs. Jake Paul is happening in May.
If it's a close fight, does it diminish the gigantic fight in September, or does it make you more interested? Because I think now, I mean, David Benavidez offered a deferring point, but I think a lot of people think Canelo is just going to be too big for Terrence.
Although Ariel Helwani hasn't officially confirmed the Canelo Alvarez vs. Jake Paul fight, he notably hasn't dismissed it either. Given Helwani's deep ties within the fight world and his reputation for getting early inside scoops, his refusal to shut down the rumors has only fueled speculation. The mere fact that he's not denying the possibility has fans and analysts wondering if there's more truth to the whispers than anyone expected. As for the fight itself, very few people believe Jake Paul stands a real chance in what's being rumored as a Cinco de Mayo blockbuster. Jake's entire boxing resume has been carefully curated, featuring mostly retired athletes, non-boxers, or faded fighters, allowing him to build up wins while avoiding serious risk. But sharing a ring with Canelo is a different animal entirely. Canelo is an elite technician, a generational fighter who has faced the best and conquered multiple divisions. For many fans, this is shaping up to be a total mismatch, one that's difficult to justify as a legitimate contest, especially on pay-per-view. There's even speculation that if the fight happens, it might not end as quickly as it should. Some fans believe Canelo might deliberately stretch the bout to avoid criticism, just as some theorize he did in fights against Edgar Berlanga and Jamie Munguia, carrying his opponents to make the fights appear more competitive. If he were to take on Jake Paul, would he do the same, dominate without completely humiliating him, just to keep public opinion in check? Right now, the Canelo vs. Jake Paul clash remains unofficial, but momentum is clearly building. For Canelo, it could be a low-effort, high-reward tune-up to stay active ahead of his dangerous September title defense against Terrence Crawford at 154 pounds. But the situation raises a broader question about the direction of Canelo's career. Is this just a strategic business move to maximize earnings while maintaining activity, or is it a sign that he's avoiding younger, more dangerous opposition? As fans debate the integrity of such a matchup, one thing is certain: if the fight gets announced, it will ignite one of the biggest media firestorms boxing has seen in years.
Told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at. fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMT.
You can curse. You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize.
There's no way he get demolished.
Jake Paul has turned boxing into a goldmine, amassing a reported net worth of $100 million largely through his massive social media following and carefully curated fight choices. Whether he's taking on MMA veterans, non-boxers, or aging legends like Mike Tyson, his fan base consistently shows up, translating into millions in revenue per fight. But now, his name is being linked to a completely different beast, Canelo Alvarez. As Oladipo Adebayo bluntly put it in a recent DAZN boxing segment, this is Canelo we're talking about, arguably one of the top 5 fighters in boxing history. With all due respect to Jake, Oladipo insisted this fight wouldn't even last a round. He added that if Canelo wanted to finish it in under a minute, he easily could. That's not to dismiss Jake's accomplishments. What he and his brother Logan have built in boxing and entertainment is remarkable, but stepping in against an elite, active champion like Canelo is a whole new level of danger. Canelo's only losses came at the hands of legends, Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, and he's still operating at the highest level. Many believe that if this rumored bout does happen and goes longer than a round, it's only because Canelo chooses to carry Jake for optics or business reasons. Even so, Jake deserves credit for having the guts to pursue such a high-risk challenge. This isn't an Anderson Silva or a faded Tyson, this is Canelo Alvarez, the reigning king at 168 pounds. That's why even the idea of this fight is driving headlines. Given the success of Jake's previous events, including his widely viewed Netflix Fight Night with Tyson, it's clear he's chasing another media blockbuster. Interestingly, Jake recently teased a July comeback in New York, his first fight since defeating Mike Tyson last November. That announcement, set for Saturday, July 5th, has thrown a curveball into the speculation. With Canelo expected to fight in May and then again in September against Terence Crawford, the timeline becomes murky. Would Jake be able to face Canelo before July if he's already eyeing a summer return? Or could his July date be moved to accommodate the Cinco de Mayo weekend? For Canelo, deviating from his tradition of fighting on Mexican holidays in May and September would be highly unusual. His next confirmed bout is a high-stakes showdown against Crawford, widely seen as a career-defining matchup. So where would Jake fit into that equation? Despite the noise, many insiders see a potential Canelo-Jake bout as more of a tune-up or financial opportunity than a competitive challenge. Still, Jake is hyping it like it's his moment of truth, recently posting training footage from Puerto Rico and calling his next opponent his toughest yet. Whether that opponent is Canelo or someone else remains to be seen, but the buzz is real, and the boxing world is watching. Jake Paul, famously known as the problem child, has never backed down from calling out the biggest names in combat sports, and Canelo Alvarez is no exception. He's made it clear time and again that he wants to test himself against one of the greatest fighters of this generation. But let's be real, Jake's track record against elite-level opponents is virtually non-existent, and the odds of this potential fight being contested for one of Canelo's 168-pound titles? Next to none. Even Jake's own advisor, Nakisa Bidarian, admitted there are serious hurdles standing in the way. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Bidarian emphasized that while the fight could happen, it's not a conventional matchup. "We just put on the biggest combat sports event since cable TV began," he said, referencing Jake's Netflix spectacle with Mike Tyson. "No matter what kind of fighter you are, you've got to look at that and realize it's a special platform." Bidarian made it clear that this isn't about rankings, belts, or legacy in the traditional sense. Jake doesn't need Canelo to be famous, and Canelo certainly doesn't need Jake to make money. But if the fight does go down, it has to be something massive, something that grabs the world's attention and screams, "Boxing is back." Money, he says, isn't the problem. It's all about timing and the magnitude of the moment. Looking ahead, 2025 could be one of the most lucrative and high-profile years of Canelo's entire career. A fight with Terence Crawford in September already promises to be a legacy-defining event. Add Jake Paul into the mix, and suddenly you're looking at two of the biggest global paydays in modern boxing. For Jake, the stakes are just as high. He's desperate to shut down critics who say he's only built his record on smoke and mirrors. Facing Canelo, an active, dominant world champion, would be the ultimate proving ground, even if Jake enters as a massive underdog. So, could it really happen? While nothing's official, the ingredients for a blockbuster are all there: star power, money, spectacle, and the kind of crossover appeal that can turn a fight into a global cultural event. That's it for now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.